Ethos of Silence.
A veteran podcast aims to amplify the voices of veterans, creating a safe space for authentic conversations about their experiences, challenges, and triumphs. We seek to break the stigma surrounding mental health and foster community support, resilience, and understanding. Through storytelling, expert insights, and candid discussions, we strive to inspire healing, promote awareness, and empower veterans on their journeys.
Welcome.
That last week, I
This is
wasn't
my place.
I wasn't worried about it. My thought process was, I'll see them in a week.
Right?
They can live without me for a while. I gotta focus. So every free second I had that knowledge book out.
Yeah.
Studying.
Yeah.
Left and right.
Yeah. Well, because you've seen so many people at this point get cycled back, and then you see them at church on Sunday, and then you talk to them, and they're like, dude, I'm not going to graduate for another month. Like, what? You failed one thing. What do you mean you're not going to graduate for another month?
Yep.
Like, oh, I need to lock in right now.
Yeah.
This ain't happening to me.
Yeah.
Even though you know where you stand with your company and your platoon and everything else, and you know, like, if they're cycling me back, they're cycling back half the damn platoon. But
Yeah, I was not letting that happen.
I'm still not even thinking that way. I'm worried about me. I can care less about everybody else.
Oh yeah,
I've got to earn the title. Everybody else can do it if they need to.
yeah. I'm gonna make sure I put in the work.
Of course.
Yeah, if the next guy, the guys next to me doesn't put in the work,
That's his problem.
yeah.
That's his problem.
I'm graduating on time. I'm getting the fuck out of here. I've been here for 3 months. I'm ready to get the fuck out of here.
Yeah, I'm taking that Army motto. I'm going to be all I can be.
Yeah, I seen a meme. It said, the Army told me I could be all I can be, so I became a Marine.
Simplify. All right, welcome back. Ethos of Silence. Tim here, Marine Corps 10 years, and I got Kevin. Nope, not Kevin. Still not Kevin, huh?
Nope. I look too good to be him.
All right.
I mean, if I look more like a caveman, then you could. I would see the resemblance there.
Okay.
And don't worry, I'll tell him.
Oh, yeah.
I'll tell him to his face. I tell him all the time. I asked him one time, you must have to sneak up on the mirror. I'm not gonna repeat what he said. It's not safe.
All right.
So
Derrick, we were getting into the Crucible.
Yes.
Because we jumped into all of our training, all the other different things we've done. I don't know how many clips we've got so far, but
there's a few.
Yeah.
Marine Corps recruit training is a lot to unpack.
Yeah.
Because it's basically a lifetime of challenges crammed into 3 months.
Yeah.
In my opinion.
Well, and now we're about to have the culmination of all those challenges that led us up to here.
Yep.
And have all those challenges in a 54-hour time period?
54-hour training event.
All right,
known as the Crucible.
So we've done everything coming up to this point, right? So we go to the chow hall the night before the Crucible, and then leaving the chow hall, they give us our 2.5 MREs apiece, and we start to field strip 3 MREs, and we're splitting one between a buddy with you get this part, I get this part, and that's how you get the 2.5.
Yeah, they did, when they gave us the MREs, they said if we wanted to swap amongst us,
now's the time.
Yeah. You're welcome to, but make it quick.
Yeah.
Because you had to quickly field strip it and pack it. And because, you got to get some sleep because it's basically the last bit of sleep you're going to get for a few days.
Mm-hmm.
So I want to say it was probably 2 or 3 in the morning.
Something like that, yeah.
When they turned the lights on.
They definitely woke us up a lot earlier than normal. We didn't get our normal, 7.5, 8 hours of sleep that incorporates you having to pull your hours worth of fire watch and all the other crazy shenanigans that happen in the middle of the night of watching your guide on for all of the different games that happen with different platoons winning different awards and all the streamers and different stuff you have that is vital to you, but yet you can go steal it from somebody and all of a sudden your platoon now has all the streamers and 4 guide-ons because we took the guide-ons from all the other platoons, and the senior drill instructor is saying, okay, well, we've got to give these back now. So he sends people to you go to chow and you put them back in front of their formations, but you knew the night before that you stole them.
Oh yeah. Oh,
Nothing like showing up and all of your higher ranking people there in the morning to launch out for the Crucible, and you've got everybody's guide-ons and you're returning them. That's a strong good feeling.
I mean, yeah, they wake you up a lot earlier than normal, but it's almost like a sense of pride. You're at the end of the road. You're almost at the end of the road, I should say. You just got to make it through this, but it's a mental thing too, because now you realize you've got to take everything you've learned in the past almost 3 months at this point, and you've got to recall all that knowledge on the fly. Because you had the different stations. Once you did, I want to say it was...
Yeah, but it's like a professional athlete, man. We've been training for the game and training for the game and training for the game, and the game's here.
Yep. Now it's time to play. I want to say it was a 10K out there.
10K out there.
And then it was a 15K back.
Yep.
You're running on a... I don't know if I would say it was adrenaline rush.
The military marches in kilometers because that's how the rest of the world measures their stuff, and we plan on taking all of them over, so we might as well, march in it.
Yeah. But, you get out there and you're like, all right, no big deal yet. But you start doing the different stations, and, there's night maneuvers you had to do, and I don't know, for some reason I really like doing the barbed wire crawls.
Because
I don't know why.
Because it felt like you were doing this, I don't know, like a authentic type of battle training. I love the fact that the barbed wire being over my head, crawling through the mud, and then we've got to get the ammo cans from this point to that point. So you're crawling, and it's a team exercise to where, you get them to this point, and you're like, okay, I'm going to go back and get them, and you can work this section, I'll work this section, and we'll get them all the way across, and instead of everybody just dragging one, you're dragging it during different parts of it. So different people specialize in different things. You're like, oh, look, here's going to be the one deep pit. We don't want to have to drag it through here. We're going to pass it across it, and that way we're not dragging the ammo can through this one deep part, So by this point, we've figured out who our leaders are and who we can rely on to come up with plans, and who we'll press the believe button with, because we've been through so many challenges together that we put that together. But this is where the drill instructor starts throwing wrenches in that, because before they weren't throwing wrenches in our training. We were just going through the training. Now we're in the Crucible and they're throwing wrenches in our training. They're saying somebody just got shot from the tree line. We're like, well, shit, we need to set a perimeter. We need to get him out of here, all this other different stuff, And in the process of doing that, somebody else got shot,
Yep. That's why they always preached the adage of knowing the man above you's job and the man below you's job, because the person above you and below you may get taken out. Now, to keep moving toward the objective, you may have to take on extra responsibilities in the process. So you have to be multi-role capable.
Exactly.
And that's the way I've adopted that as my motto to life. I always try to be multi-role capable. Even
if it's not my job to do the boss's job, I want to know how to do the boss's job. The same with, it's not my role anymore to sweep up the trash and pick everything up. But if old boy calls in sick, it's not going to be nobody swept the shop and empty the trash cans, because I can still do the bare minimum responsibilities.
Yeah, like at work, my official job is truck driver, yet the last 2 days I've been running the filter press.
Yeah.
Crushing filters and stuff so we could call the environmental company to come get them. That's not part of my job description, but it's what needed to be done.
And I know how to do it, so I might as well knock it out for the good of the company. I mean, I want this company to keep running so I can get my paycheck.
Oh,
so,
exactly.
Yeah.
And, I looked at my pay stub and I'm like, oh, that's nice.
Yeah, I hear you.
That's real nice.
I hear you.
But,
so back to the Crucible, we've got all these challenges. They're throwing all these hurdles at us, and we're learning how to adapt and overcome all these challenges that are being thrown our way, and we can see, like, I enjoyed the machine gun fire noises while doing that exercise because it felt like I was entrenched in what was actually going on. I feel like that training, even though I could see, the instructors off in the wood line and everything else and all the safeties that had in place,
it still felt real.
The fixing bayonets prior to climbing, the fixing bayonets after climbing through the trenches and getting the ammo there, right? So you climb through all the trenches, you drag all the ammo, you've got everything all supplied up, and then you get in your fighting positions, and then you fix bayonets because you're about to charge at all these tires and slash and go through the drill of slashing all these tires as if you done fixed bayonets and you're charging at the enemy lines, right? Mm-hmm. And that's the culmination of that drill. And that, oh man, it's like being baptized in the fires that have forged a Marine.
I know when I went through it, somebody actually spoke up and asked why were we still doing bayonet techniques. And one of the instructors, I can't remember if it was a drill instructor or one of the other instructors for the course that we were doing that day, they said, I think it was 03 or 04, a unit in Iraq had gotten the orders to fix bayonets because it was going down, and they said a corpsman actually scored a bayonet kill. I'm like, wow. Damn.
Because in close quarters combat, if
you may not have time to pull your gun up to the ready and fire a shot off. You may only be able to get your weapon up high enough to use the bayonet itself. So, it definitely...
when the weapon's an extension of yourself, and then I'm able to put a sharp object on the end of my weapon to be able to add another, 6, 8, 12 inches to it. You know what I mean? When I'm able to fix that bayonet and add that little bit that inks right past the barrel to actually do some damage to somebody, it can be the difference in life and death. So it's pretty important that we learn it.
Yeah. Did y'all have bayonets?
Yeah.
Yeah, we had them in Iraq, but thankfully we never got the order.
Yeah, we had bayonets.
Because they basically told us, if you get the order to fix bayonets, now's the time to start praying.
Yeah.
Because it's sketchy. But
because so many things had to fail to get to that point. Like so many decisions had to be made that have us down this completely wrong path to where now we're fixing bayonets. You know what I mean? Like
it's literally a fight for your life.
Because the amount of intel we have and everything else, we have completely underestimated the capabilities of the enemy, and now we are fixing bayonets.
What for you was the hardest part of the Crucible?
For me, the hardest part of the Crucible. The hardest part of the Crucible would have to be, I guess it would be the lack of sleep. The fact of running on nothing. The fact of running on fumes, right? Running on instinct is the hardest part. It's also probably the most rewarding to where you learn the capabilities of your body and how far you can push your body. And the fact that I felt like I could push my body even further than what they made me push my body. And I think I still rely on those strengths today that I built then. Because basically, you go through challenges and every challenge makes you stronger. So we went through challenges throughout recruit training and they made us stronger. And then the culmination of all of them is this Crucible that makes us stronger. And I believe like the lack of sleep and just the lack of sleep, because nobody really had any ranks or any titles or anything else. You had squad leaders and you had, guys that were stronger than you or that you would run the obstacle course or have a better time at doing this, that, or the other. But for the most part, we're all equal on the same playing field. and it would be frustrating when people would not do what they're supposed to do, but just overcoming that challenge. And I mean, at this point, there's no reason to point fingers when you're frustrated that somebody did something wrong. They died. You got to pick up their weapon. You've got to follow whatever you got to do to complete the mission and complete everything else. And it's very simple to do, to just follow your training. So it's the lack of sleep. It's how tired I was on the way back. Making that hump on the way back with how exhausted I was with the lack of sleep and the lack of everything else going on.
Yeah, that 15K back from Page Field, that I was running on, my body was on autopilot somehow, because I did not realize it was possible to fall asleep while you were walking.
Going through the motions.
But I did.
Yeah.
Like, I ain't gonna lie. They told us we would, but we all mentally, like, bullshit, that ain't gonna happen. Well, it happened.
Yeah.
And, you know, you're just running on pure adrenaline
Fumes.
at that point, if there's any adrenaline left. But I think the hardest part for me was that 15K, because, you know, like you said, you had no energy left whatsoever.
Lack of sleep, lack of everything. I mean, if you had anything to give, you gave it time and time again.
And then, no, go ahead.
No, if you had anything to give, you gave it time and time again through one drill or another. And even if you didn't, you were mentally worn out from trying to think of how am I going to make all this stuff happen that seemed like it was a worthy challenge with a full squad of people, much less now I'm messing with half of that. You know what I mean?
Mm. But, you know, even though you were drained mentally, physically, and emotionally from the Crucible, you got to admit, when you came around that last corner and you could see your squad bay come into view, it's like boom. It's like you found an energy reserve you didn't know was there. And you just you start to push.
So that is something that the Marine Corps has awoken in me, and I rely on that strength daily, is what I was telling you. Is, you know, like, so you do challenges, and those challenges make you better. The best way I can put it all into words and make an honest understanding of it is a video game that you're just leveling this character up, and everything you do with this character, they get stronger. Everything you do, right? So you can do it one way, you can do it another way. One way is going to be more effective. You're going to get stronger doing it that way. But either way, you're going to learn a lesson, and you're going to continue to grow from that. And that's the best way I can describe it, is like, you learn that your body can do amazing things, and that, you know, with a little ibuprofen, you can make the every trouble in the world just disappear.
And I will say probably the greatest feeling, or one of the greatest feelings throughout my time, was we had just got back. Like, we were standing in formation out front of the squad bays, and then we make it up in there, and we set our packs down and everything. And, like, we did it.
Yeah.
Like, we just did it. You know, and we're all congratulating each other. They gave us a few minutes, you know, high fives, all that stuff, before they told us to lock it up and all that.
Yep.
And that was such an exhilarating feeling.
Those few seconds of realizing that there's nothing in this training that's going to break me now, that from this point forward, it's going through the motions, you know, that it's just an amazing feeling to realize that you've completed something that not very many people will even attempt to do, and earning that title.
Yeah, I tell people to, you know, obviously, most people will say the best day of their lives was when their kids were born.
Yeah.
I said the only thing that even comes close to that is I remember standing on the parade deck and my senior drill instructor putting that Eagle Globe and Anchor in my hand.
Yes.
And calling me Marine for the first time.
Yeah.
I'm like, I can do anything now. If I can do Marine Corps recruit training and it didn't break me, I can do anything.
Yeah, I mean, how at this point is anything ever going to break me? I am now forged into this Marine, and I've been given the title by somebody that I hold in the highest regard because they are the person who has provided the safety net for me to complete this amazing transformation of going from a kid to a Marine. I'm still a young man. I still have a lot of things to figure out, a lot of growing up to do. But if this kid can turn into a Marine, growing up should not be a challenge at all.
No.
Little do I know life's going to throw me a bunch of curveballs.
Oh,
but,
yeah.
But, if I can handle this, I can handle anything.
Oh, yeah. And, I look back at all that training and everything from boot camp, and, I was always the one to think, when the hell is any of that going to relate to real world situations? And then I started having kids.
Well, that the ethos is the character development that you develop in the Marine Corps, right? So at the end of the crucible, your ethos is so high. You are forged in this fire of being a Marine. And due to that, you're able to carry the power of completing that training and completing all these events into your life to be able to be the next. You don't even have to replace anybody else, just so that you have that power to lean back on and be great.
Have you ever seen the video? It was a recruiting video from years ago. Not sure how long, but it definitely was pre-2004 because in the video they're wearing the old tricolor.
Okay.
But have you ever seen the video called Forged with Spirit and Pride?
No.
Yeah. There was a line. They sang this little jingle, and it said, "The Corps is the fire, and I'm the steel." And it basically, the symbolism was forged with spirit and pride. I didn't know if you'd ever seen that.
No.
I'll have to see if I can find the video and send it to you. It's a brief synopsis of boot camp, heavily edited, obviously, because they don't show you the freaky stuff that happens in boot camp. They conveniently leave that stuff out. But it's like when you get that Eagle Globe and Anchor standing on the parade deck, you're like, nothing can stop me.
Nothing can stop you.
Like you feel like a giant roaming the earth. And like I said, I'll remember that.
But you are, and nothing can. Your only limitations are your it's all mental. It's all mental. And if we learned anything, from being the Walking Dead on the hike back of falling asleep and going into fucking zombie mode.
Yep.
It is all mental. And when you put your mind to something, it is incredible what you can accomplish.
That's what I learned throughout my time in the Corps, that it was mostly mental.
See, but learning it's mental goes back to one of my favorite analogies. I can read on how to do push-ups all day. Until I complete that, until I get down and do a push-up, reading about it doesn't help.
Yep.
Reading books that are going to give me the clarity to have a mental breakthrough, they're awesome. But until I do something that creates that mental breakthrough, until I do something that challenges myself to this point, that forges me in the fire to become this thing I'm trying to achieve, until I actually go through the actual process to achieve it, I can read all the books about being a Marine that have ever been written.
Mm-hmm. Like you can read the books all you want, but it doesn't mean a thing until you start doing it, and that's what I like to call hot time.
Yeah.
getting hands on, that's when I start learning.
Exactly.
That reminds me, I need to brush up on some things. You speak about push-ups. Somebody asked me how many push-ups did I do while I was at the island. I said, all of them.
Yeah, that's right.
Now
All of them.
You spend time on the quarterdeck, you're going to do all of them.
Mm-hmm. It's the washer or the dryer or something. Give me a little jingle.
But, looking back at it, at the entire 3 months on the island, it was complete hell.
It was.
But I wouldn't trade those experiences for nothing.
And it was expertly crafted to where the challenges got exponentially harder, but you grew exponentially stronger, so they continued to be challenging.
Yep. Like they were extremely hard, but by the time you got to these certain challenges, you had done grown to a point where it wasn't. I don't know how I should say that. Where it was. It
was achievable.
Yeah. It didn't sound impossible, like you originally thought. 'Cause
yeah.
Some of these training events, you think there ain't no way.
Well, think about it. There's no way the same kid you got off the bus and was trying to patch up the fact that their head hurt and just got off the phone with mommy is now going to go and do this 54-hour crucible. There's no way. That kid is not doing that.
No, not by any shape.
Now, the recruit that you built from phase 1 through phase 2 through phase 3, dude, we didn't have anybody not make it through the crucible.
Yeah, same here. We didn't lose anybody.
How? That is by far a training event that will go down as one of the historical parts of any type of training. You know what I mean? Is the crucible, is the forging of the Marine right there, right? And how is the training process so expertly carved out that if you get to that point and you go on the crucible, you're coming out the other side.
Oh, yeah.
And it's because of the amount of checks and balances and safeties they have in place to ensure that you can just keep on rolling. Almost to the fact of the calories in the MRE are dialed in to the exact point of they knowing the exact amount of energy, Yep. The making sure you drink the exact amount of water to where your body's going to consume the exact amount of stuff it needs, depending on the time of the year and what you're going to require to go through it.
Yep. It's weird how they plan all that stuff, the way they plan it. But like I said, I would not trade those experiences for anything.
Well, you can't trade them for anything. Those experiences are priceless.
Oh, yeah, very much so. And you were total strangers, but now you're brothers. And thankfully, I'm still able to talk to some of the guys I went to the island with.
Yeah.
I actually got a fairly decent group that I stay up with on Facebook.
That's good.
And we all, every now and then, we'll say, like, hey, you remember when such and such did this, and this is what eventually happened because of it?
Yeah.
It was usually the same guys doing the dumb shit. They would skyline themselves.
It's amazing. It's amazing how how the nail never fixes itself. It always just sticks out.
Yeah, back to BWT, I may or may not have inadvertently became a Blue Falcon. It was an accident.
Accidentally throwing somebody else under the bus, huh? I got to hear this one.
So we're sitting out there, because that was one of the, I think for BWT, you were out at Page Field as well.
Okay.
I think it's where, I can't remember exactly. It was one of the night moves that we were doing, and we're sitting there, the drill instructors were telling us something, and I heard what I thought was running water. I'm like, the fuck is going on? There's no running water out here. You know, and we're kneeling down, right? And for the life of me, I don't know why I turned my head, but I wish I wouldn't have. The recruit next to me has done whipped his unit out and is pissing directly on the concrete. And I'm like, what the fuck? And I accidentally said it a little bit too loud. Shark attack.
Shark attack.
The drill instructors heard.
I love that term now. I had no idea it existed.
Oh, I didn't either. But now I'm going to use it.
It's a beautiful term out of that beautiful mind of Kevin's.
Oh, yeah. See, he is good for something. Well, anyway, I accidentally said, what the fuck, way too loud.
Yeah.
And the drill instructors heard. And they came over. And all hell broke loose for him. He got thrashed for a while. I'm like, sorry. I found him after they were done fucking him up. I said, dude, sorry about that. Didn't mean to do that. I didn't mean to loud cap you like that. I said, it just kind of struck me as odd that you would just whip it out and start pissing right there. He's like, dude, I couldn't hold it anymore. I'm like, hey, you do what you got to do. Just make sure you're not pissing next to somebody next time.
Right.
I said, you could have shifted to the other side of me. The bush line was right there. And another, probably, I'll save one more funny incident, was also from BWT. Do you remember the unknown distance range?
Yes.
Now, did they tell y'all what the far target was?
No.
They told us straight up.
How far?
600 yards.
Really?
Yep. They told us, we're going to tell y'all the farthest target is 600 yards. You got to figure it out for yourself on the rest of them.
Okay.
So, me knowing what I know about firearms, I knew the cold bore shot was going to be the most accurate one. So, I decided I'm going for the big boy right out the gate. I'm going for 600 yards. So, and somebody said, well, the M16 can't shoot that far, can it? I'm like, actually, it could. I said, to a point target, it's good. It's accurate for 550. And I said, a point area target, it's good for 800. And I said, the Marine Corps rifle team shoots them at 1,000. I said, but no, it does not have sight settings for 600 yards. It has them for 500, which is 8.3 big gap. If you remember the big gap, small gap. 500 yards was 8.3 big gap. I said, so I just cranked it. 8.3 big gap, little Kentucky windage.
Yeah.
You know, I don't even remember where I held at. I said, but they had one of the PMIs standing right over my shoulder, and the 600-yard target went down on the first shot. And he goes, did you really just do that? Yes, sir. He goes, where in the hell are you from? I said, Southern Louisiana, sir. He's like, oh, you one of them backwoods country fuckers that grew up hunting and fishing, ain't you? Yes, sir. He goes, I want to see you shoot. I'm going to stand right here. Go ahead, shoot the rest of them. So I proceeded to hit all of my targets with one round each. And he goes, God damn. He said, you Southern boys, I don't want to fuck with y'all. Y'all are way too good at this shit.
This comes from the same cat who failed rifle qual and had to go back.
Yeah.
To do it again.
Yeah.
And then you shoot an expert and they give you a pizza box because you passed it on the second time, not the first time.
Yep. So he goes, and I swear to everything holy, he goes, you got rounds left? Yes, sir. He goes, shoot everybody else's targets. These motherfuckers can't shoot. So I just started shooting random targets till I ran out of ammunition. And then I finally ran out, and he goes, he did the whole, where you clear and make safe and all that, and you step off the line. And I did notice, though, that that's how you could tell who was from the north and who was from the south.
Oh.
Looking at range scores.
Yeah, definitely. Definitely. You definitely could. All right, brother. Any final words of wisdom?
Life's hard.
Life's hard. See.
But when it gets hard, just buckle down and get after it.
There you go.
Don't let it keep you down.
Well, that's something the Marine Corps definitely taught us, huh?
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, you just gotta pull your big boy drawers on, keep on keeping on. If you recognize the movie reference.
I hear you. All right, babe. Iron sharpens iron. Y'all go ahead and subscribe on YouTube so we can have some fun.
If you got any questions, you can reach out to us.
Oh, yeah. All our handles are on there. You can email the podcast, email us individually.
Yep.
You know. Half you listen probably know us. You can just give us a phone call and tell us how we can improve this thing.
Yeah, that too. Constructive criticism will go a long way.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
So.
I promise you don't have to write letter and crayon, but bonus points if you do.
Yeah.
We now have a moment of silent prayer for those still in the battle, for our departed comrades, for those missing in action, and for those held as prisoners of war.